Housing Development Progress. Number one and the best. Housing Development Progress. Number one. Number one. Housing Development Progress. Number one and the best. Housing Development Progress. Number one. Housing Development Progress. In Nigeria. Housing Development Progress. In Africa. Housing Development Program and the globe. Number one, Housing Development Program.
It is time for your housing breakfast show, Housing Development. Good morning. Glad to have you join me on yet another informative episode of the program. As always, I am your housing diva, Flora Ani. Before we delve into our lineup for today, first let's see the news making rounds in the sector. I will be back.
The Nigerian housing sector faces numerous challenges that have impeded its development over the years. Nigeria has been reported to have over 28 million housing deficit, a figure hotly debated by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development architect Ahmed Musa Dangiwa. According to experts, despite its capacity to generate employment and stimulate the Nigerian economy, the sector's expansion has been hindered by issues such as a deficient land administration system, an ineffective mortgage structure, and a shortage of data alongside a dysfunctional regulatory framework. But with the appointment of an architect and the former Chief Executive Officer of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria (FMBN), architect Dangiwa, in August 2023, to head the now standalone Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, players in the sector became hopeful that the sector can be boosted to perform optimally and contribute significantly to the economic growth and development of the nation. Landmark Africa, a significant investor in Lagos real estate, has urged authorities to create a favorable environment for property developers and intervene to safeguard investments alongside the Atlantic Ocean Beach Corridor in Victoria Island, Lagos. The company asserts that securing the area from social miscreants and ensuring that the dredging of sand for the Eco-Atlantic project doesn't harm the environment, especially real estate developments and communities within the shores, will raise investors' confidence and promote foreign direct investment (FDI). It has spent over 3.5 billion naira implementing a triple defense approach. This involves creating a stone embankment around its site to minimize the impact of large tidal waves caused by ongoing land reclamation work. Furthermore, the company has utilized sheet piling for the boundary wall to enhance stability and constructed an anchor wall tied to the sheet pile boundary wall.
To read the full details of the news and more, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. Access to housing is an important determinant of quality of life and human welfare, one that is both crucial to family well-being and essential to the overall health of the people. Investment in affordable housing construction currently remains far below the level of public offers. Yet another avenue to reduce the cost of housing development is to have an improved business environment for investors. This report coming up seeks to highlight the importance of this.
For many years now, Nigerians have lamented over the high number of vacant houses in major cities across the country. The reason is closely linked to affordability, which borders on whether low and middle income earners can afford these houses. This lamentation has been echoed again by key players in the real estate industry. Past president of the institution, Roland Abonta, and others charged the government to impose special taxes on unoccupied buildings in order to force down the high cost of rent.
I advised government to make use of the professionals to take inventory of such vacant houses, particularly in a city like Abuja and Lagos. And then when they have that database, begin to put some penalties or some levies in terms of taxes on vacant houses. That will compel the owners to put their properties into use. What keeps them vacant is that the prices are out of the reach of Nigerians that need accommodation. And so, because what they invested maybe did not come from bank loans or lending from other sources, so they can afford to lock it up for years without bothering about it being locked up like that.
For some people, these empty houses are there because owners have not yet gotten buyers for their property. However, government should engage professionals who are the estate surveyors and valuers to take proper inventory of the number of unoccupied houses in major cities across the country if they must address the high housing deficits facing the country.
You see, most things, especially in Abuja now, where you see a lot of houses not occupied, because a lot of those landlords have multiple houses, and some of them are not even willing to let them out. You just want to keep them for speculation, some for just keeping, for just status. Some are not interested in the rent. You just want to keep it personally to appreciate. We intend to sell it after. Some is for personal uses. You go to Asoko, go to Meta, you see a lot of houses not occupied. They are owned by big men who don't need the income. So, government can do better by taxing them. Maybe by the time they tax each of those houses, they will know that there's no need for them to keep it.
When government impose taxes on all those big houses in Guzape, Asokoro, I think we have enough to do on the houses.
It is important to note that experts continue to say that many of these houses are built by very rich people who do not suffer so much for the money and so can afford to lock up these houses when they build them. They insist that it is by imposing taxes on the properties that governments can effectively address.
They live in the shadows, forgotten corners of our city, overcrowded, unsanitary, lacking basic amenities. These are the slums where millions struggle to exist. But there's a flicker of hope. An ambitious project is underway. Imagine homes with running water, proper sanitation, schools and playgrounds for children, a chance for dignity, for dreams to take flight. But this transformation needs your voices. Speak to Housing TV Africa and let the world witness the resilience of those who fight for a better place to call home. Let our cameras capture the tears of joy, the shared laughter, the spirit of unity that shines brighter than any hardship. Get in touch with Housing TV Africa today and be a voice of hope to people living in the slum. Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news.
This is HousingDevelopment, the only TV program that gives you the best
In a significant development for Nigeria's housing sector, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, inaugurated 4 reform tax schemes on the Renewed Hope agenda.
Please, let's clap for them.
Dangiwa emphasized the importance of creating a vibrant and efficient housing industry during the inauguration ceremony held recently in Abuja.
What unites us is the desire for Nigeria to have a vibrant, functional and efficient housing industry that not only meets the shelter needs of Nigerians, but also to unlock the massive potential of the sector for catalyzing inclusive economic growth.
In his speech, the minister expressed the goal of not only meeting the shelter needs of Nigerians, but also unlocking the massive potential of the sector for catalyzing inclusive economic growth. Research and experts have highlighted that previous housing plans and policies failed due to a lack of political will. Dangiwa acknowledged this challenge and emphasized the need for a foundational step towards implementing historic reforms.
Because over the last 60 years of Nigeria's independence, we have witnessed successive governments roll out a series of housing development plans and policies. Despite these many plans, our country has sadly failed to meet the housing needs of Nigerians as we still grapple with a huge housing deficit. Housing sector contribution to the gross domestic product, GDP, hasn't moved in any significant way over the past several decades. Housing development institutions are also still not only functional at suboptimal capacities, and the enabling housing laws are obsolete. Researchers and experts have stated clearly that most of the housing plans and policies since independence failed to deliver the expected results due to large part to a lack of political will on the side of the government. The good news now is that our President, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, recognized that to achieve renewed hope vision target of building $1 trillion economy, housing must be prioritized. This means undertaking comprehensive housing reform, sector reforms that will ensure the systemic and prevalent issues that have caused underdevelopment are fixed.
The minister outlined the roles of the 4 housing sector reform task teams, emphasizing their crucial role in realizing the renewed hope vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He detailed their primary responsibilities and set expectations for their contributions.
Well, in the next 8 weeks, we want them to produce their own reports. The report should be all-encompassing, deliverables, what they expect us to do, actionable points, and how we will do it. We want them even to give us the low-hanging fruits within the next 8 weeks so that we can start implementing those reforms that they have done. At the end of it, we now present to the Federal Executive Council some of the things or some of the issues that need to go to National Assembly. From there, we now proceed to National Assembly to reform most of these institutions, like the Federal Housing Authority that has been established since 1975, 73, now it's 50 years already. So those bills need to be looked at again by the National Assembly and ensure that they reform those institutions so that the institution can be either partially commercialized so that even the low income, the middle income, the high income are catered for as a Nigerian.
Inaugurated into the task team were Adedeji Jones Adesemoye, Chairman Institutions Reform Tax Team; Dr. Ugochukwu Obiora Chime, Chairman Land Reform Tax Team; Architect Nuhu Wa, former Minister, Chairman Building Material Hubs Tax Team; Brigadier General Tunde Res, retired, Multi-Agency Project Delivery Tax Team.
The next issue online now is the norm of building or acquiring houses and leaving them unoccupied for years. What are some Nigerians react to this issue on Voices on the Street?
If I was the president, what I would do is I would actually go there, pursue everybody, pack people from the villages and then take them down there, let them start living. Because one of the rights of everybody is free accommodation. You should go to all those estates and then revoke their license and say, okay, and investigate. Why are people keeping houses for years for their children, while the people are still alive, they cannot afford this thing. What they should do is one, either they revoke their license and then take those buildings and give it to the masses. Because in the first place, the property, the land and everything belongs to the masses.
I would say that unoccupied houses, they can rent it out to people that don't even have at all. Like Asokoro here, there are so many buildings, mansions that there is nobody. From year to year, there are nobody except rats, cockroach, everything that is taking over the place. But there are so many people that don't even have a place to lay their head. Let people occupy the empty houses, the building that there is nobody.
The government should put a policy that any house that is not occupied for so time, then they should find a way to give or to a kind of make the owner of the house to make available those houses so that those that does not have house to stay, they can stay inside of them, or they can even put a tax. That tax can force them to put it for rent and the rest, because most of the houses in Asokoro and Maitama and other places, they are all empty. You go to a whole street, you see empty houses, 5 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms, duplex, all of them are empty. So I think if the policy are made that those who have those houses should put it in use, either by them or by any other people that can be able to occupy them, or even subsidize it, so that with a little amount of money, people can be able to rent those places. I think it will be a better way. So taxes should be imposed on those who left their houses empty without people. Those taxes will make them to start bringing people to stay there, or collect a little amount of money so that people can stay in those houses.
Just want the government to collect the houses, to share it for the poor ones.
It is the duty of the government to officially allocate houses to all citizens of this country. If there is an unoccupied flats, unoccupied houses here and there, and the owners have no use of it, and are not ready to bring the rate down for the downtrodden to occupy this, I will advise the government to forcefully take some percentage of it and give to the less privileged, those who are lonely, sleeping aimlessly on the street, cut across the whole federation.
Voices on the street then. In the bustling heart of Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, a haunting spectacle of abandoned buildings silently tells tales of shattered dreams, economic struggles, and bureaucratic hurdles. Once envisioned as symbol of progress and urban development, these structures now stand frozen in time. Our spotlight today is on Malaysia Garden. In the year 2019, our reporter visited Malaysia Gardens. Here is a report.
A drive through the streets of Abuja, the nation's capital, will reveal a significant number of abandoned housing projects littering the landscape. Although millions of naira is allocated to housing projects in the country every year, abandonment of these projects still ensue. There are countless uncompleted building projects like houses, schools, hospitals, which have been neglected by the Niger Delta Development Commission and the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing. Report shows that most of these housing projects have been converted to criminal hideouts, illegal shotlets, and even barracks by the police force. This persistent trend galvanized the legislative arm of government to take actions by investigating all abandoned government projects from the year 1999 during the tenure of the former president Olusegun Obasanjo till today. According to the perturbed lawmakers, over 20,000 projects have been awarded in the country, and payments of not less than 50%, which amounts to billions of naira, have been made in advance. Most housing projects frequently abandoned are due to a myriad of problems ranging from litigation, whereby many lawsuits are delayed by the court, the lack of funds, issues of land ownership and titles, poor infrastructure, issues with constructors, and change of government. Here in Saraji district, Apo, the nation's capital, lies Malaysian Garden Estate, one of the numerous abandoned federal government housing projects in the country. This estate was launched by the former president Olusegun Obasanjo in 2004, but even after 15 years, still hasn't reached completion. Housing Development crew paid a visit to the estate but were denied access into the land by the security guard, who also refused to speak about the estate. But from outside where the crew stood, several people were spotted illegally occupying the houses even in its abandonment. This estate, which holds 14,085 housing units, if completed, will provide housing for thousands of Nigerians, as the housing scheme is set to focus on 65% low-income earners, 25% middle-income earners, and 10% high-income earners. The issue of project failure and abandonment has been left unresolved for a very long time, and this has created obvious room for a multiplier effect on the construction industry as well as the entire economy. It is also a threat to the security of many Nigerians because most of these buildings have become hideouts of criminals or places to conduct criminal activities. With a country like Nigeria challenged with housing deficit and insecurity, it is important for adequate measures to be taken by the government at all levels to address the issue. If the issue of abandoned housing is properly checked, it will go a long way in delivering affordable houses to Nigerians, thereby curtailing housing deficit in the country.
Thank you AIHS for the opportunity of this exhibition. It was a nice experience. I would like to make it again.
Teşekkürler AIHS.
Çok teşekkürler AIHS.
Thank you AIHS. Thank you so much.
非常感谢 AIHS。
大家好，我就想很好的感谢 AIHS。
谢谢 AIHS。Thank you everyone. Thank you AIHS.
Thank you AIHS.
Our report we covered in 2019 there. Currently, our reporter is in Malaysia Gardens to give us the up-to-date condition of Malaysia Gardens. Hello, Ebenezer.
Hello, Flora.
You're currently at Malaysia Gardens. What is the current state of Malaysia Gardens? Are there any activities going on there?
Well, the current state of the Malaysia Gardens is that of abandonment. And as we can see here on site, there are no ongoing activities with regards to the completion of this project. It is quite saddening to note that over 18 years after the foundation for this project was laid by the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, we are yet to witness the completion of this project. It was envisaged that there will be over 14,085 housing units sitting on 500 hectares of land, which was supposed to be one of the largest in the Federal Capital Territory. It is not looking as if this project will be completed anytime soon. What we see on ground here is but a subtle glimpse and reflection of the shattered dreams of various subscribers whose hopes of having a house or home to live in never materialized.
In the case of this Malaysia Garden, it was established 2006. Since then, the project was left like this. I think it's because the developers or the people in charge of development of estate management like this, they have not been investigating the work, whether it is being done or not being done. But they approved it, but they are not investigating it. That is my own opinion.
It's a very big project. And you see, look at it now. Since how many years it has been abandoned? If that they have completed this project is something that will give government money and will realize money on it. But can you see it? Even the project now, all the whole equipment there's not there. The thieves have already vandalized many things on there. When you want to start the project again now, you will see that it will start afresh and spend more money than what you expected the time you started the project.
The only thing that will make such a thing to come to an end, the government should take action. Those that used to collect money and they will not do what they're supposed to do, they're supposed to invite them and caution them. Because if they not just to caution them, if they caution them, the money that they collected from the government hand or from individuals hand, they're supposed to hold them for them to pay the money back. Because if they hold one or two people, definitely the rest people, they will not do that again. Like this one that we are talking of now, this Malaysia garden, it was here for long. If you go inside the court there now, you will see what is happening there. Thieves, they are there. It's a hiding out of thieves.
It would be recalled that in 2006, after the foundation for the Malaysia Gardens project was laid by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, the project did not kick off immediately. It wasn't until 2015, after so many legal hurdles between the Federal Capital Territory Administration and the developers of the project, Global Formwork Nigeria Limited had dragged on. A court injunction granted permission for the continuation of the project by the developers. And after continuous reassurances to the subscribers, we can now see what is still left of the Malaysia Gardens project. It remains to be seen in the coming years whether the project would be completed or it will maintain its current status. We will now be reconnecting back to Flora in the studio.
All right, thanks Ebenezer for giving us up-to-date activities at the Malaysian Gardens. Now, one question begging for an answer right now is, when will the developer recommence construction on the 14,085 housing units project? In the face of the huge housing deficit in the country, there is an uncompleted, abandoned 14,085 housing units wasting away in the nation's capital. Completing these houses would definitely reduce the housing deficit we're currently facing in the nation. And I hope that the federal government will do the needful. Well, that is the more time can bring on today's episode of Housing Development. Thanks for watching. I remain your housing diva, Flora Annie. Do have a lovely week ahead.